Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another visual pattern challenge. We've got an interesting looking pattern today. Here's step one, here's step two, and here's step three. And this is a three-dimensional shape, and it's kind of growing in this sort of starburst fashion. Starts out as one block and then adds a bunch of blocks on lots of different directions coming out, and then adds more. So your challenge today would be to figure out how many blocks total are going to be in step four. And if you can do that, can you figure out how many would be in step 43? And can you write an equation along the way that you could use to express the number of blocks in any step at all? If you'd like to take that challenge, pause the video and work it out. Okay, so the first thing I notice is that this is a three-dimensional shape. So is it just linear, or is it something more than that? Is this maybe a cubic pattern, possibly? Well, sometimes three-dimensional things grow in a linear way or in a quadratic way, so it might not be cubic. And I think we will be able to tell when we analyze the numbers. But let's think about this just visually first so we can see what might be happening with step four. And the way I'm going to think about it is just to start with this 1 in the center and see what gets added in each step. So starting with that 1 in the center, now that 1 in the center in step 2, it's still there, but we can't see it. So when I go to count the blocks, I need to remember that that's inside there. And then it looks like we've added 1 to the top, 1 to the bottom, and 1 to each of these 4 directions out the side. So that's 6 more. So we've added 6 there. So in step 1, I've got 1. In step 2, I've got 6 more. That's 7. And then it looks like we've done the exact same thing, right? So there's 1 extra on the top, 1 extra on the bottom, and 1 extra on each of the 4 directions. So if I were going to predict step 4, I'd say we'd add 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and add 1 up here and 1 down here. Now what would that be total? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 we can't see. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 3 on each of these, so 10 and 13 and 16 and 19. So I think step 4 is going to have 19 blocks. But let's analyze these numbers and see what kind of a pattern we really have here. So I'll make a chart with the step number and the number of blocks in each step. So in step 1, we've got just that 1 block. In step 2, we've got 7. And in step 3, let's see, we've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. So that looks like 13. And in step 4, we're predicting 19. To analyze this pattern, we're going to find the difference between each step. So 7 minus 1 is 6. 13 minus 7 is 6. And 19 minus 13 is 6. So this is a constant. And when the differences are constant, when they stay the same from step to step, that's a linear pattern. So even though this shape is three-dimensional and is growing in all these different directions three-dimensionally, it's still a linear pattern. The rate of growth is linear. We can use this equation for a line to model that. So y equals mx plus b. The m is the slope in that formula, and the slope in a pattern like this is the rate of change, the amount it grows from step to step. So we're going to have y equals 6x, and then the plus b is something we put in to adjust to make sure it works with that first step. So let me show you how that works. So x is the step number, y is the total number of blocks, or it should be. So if we just use this stem we have of the equation so far, y equals 6 times the step number, 6 times 1, this would tell us that there needs to be 6 blocks in step number 1, but there aren't. There's only 1. So we have 5 too many blocks according to this equation. So we adjust that with the b. b is going to be a negative 5. So y equals 6 times 1 minus 5. That does equal 1. So this expression predicts the number of blocks in step 1. So we need to put that in our equation, that minus 5. Now let's double check that that works with step 2. So y equals 6 times step 2 minus 5. So that'd be 12 minus 5. Yeah, that's 7. And in step 3, y equals 6 times 3 minus 5. 6 times 3 is 18 minus 5. Yeah, that's 13. So this is accurately predicting what we see in our pattern. So we can be confident that our equation is y equals 6x minus 5. And we can use this to predict the number of blocks in step 43 pretty easily. We just sub in 43 for the step number for x. So y equals 6 times 43 minus 5. Now, what is 6 times 43? Well, 6 times 40 would be 240, and 6 times 3 would be 18, so that's 258, and then minus 5 would be 253. Is that what you get? Well, how did that go for you? Did you get 19 for the next step? Did you come up with this equation? Let me know. Thanks, everybody.